Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathan Skinner and today we're looking at the carpet flooring kit for the Jaguar S-Type and Jaguar 420 models. So this is the main cockpit cabin carpet. Nothing to do with the boot trunk area, that is separate, and please do see our video on that. And also nothing to do with the kind of moquette material that was used on the sort of under dash parcel tray at the front of the car or around the kind of seat mechanisms on the front seats. They're sold separately, but often people, because they're a very similar material, sometimes question that. So I just want to clarify, they are sold separately. This is purely for the flooring of the cockpit cabin area of your Jag S-Type or 420. Now this specific kit is a left-hand drive manual. They did differ between left-hand drive, right-hand drive, automatic gearbox or manual gearbox. We have patterns for all of them, but this is left-hand drive manual. The main differences, I believe, front floors, obviously, and the cutaways, etc. The gearbox sides change shape between auto and manual, as well as the size of the front floors. Then the rear floors subtly change as well because of the situation of the handbrake element of things, which I'll touch on. So left-hand drive manual, but we do have patterns for all of them. This specific kit has been done in Palomino Wool, which is like a sort of biscuity colour. And it's been edged in Biscuit Light Tan, which ties in with the customer's main trim. We do all of our edging in leathercloth, vinyled material as original. A lot of other companies out there use vinyl, which one, isn't correct, and two, doesn't look nearly as nice in my opinion. It's a lot rounder and bigger and sort of more rubbery in its feel. So I will be doing a video on that showcasing the differences, but we try to keep to originality where possible, plus it does look better. Now, with regard to the edging, you'll see that not all the pieces are edged, the majority are, but the general principle when it's in the car is that you'll see no raw edge on show. The principle being that any unbound edge or raw edge will be tucked underneath the adjacent carpet, which would have edging on it, or an adjacent panel hiding it. Good example of that is the sort of gearbox sides don't have any edging on them because they sit underneath the front floor carpets, which are edged, and then the top part sits underneath the centre console. Same concept all the way back to the prop shaft over here, where it sits underneath the rear floors. Same principle on the sills there. So just bear that in mind. We do that by design to make sure that everything looks as it should in the car and it's nice and seamless between the pieces. We also take the opportunity with those pieces to often make them slightly bigger than they need to be, because it allows you to tuck them nicely underneath the adjacent carpet and you get a nice seamless flow between the car. It's something that we've learned in the last sort of 50 years or so of making these premium kits for restorers all over the world. So that's the concept of edging. Let's actually dive into the carpet set now. So start at the front. We've got the gearbox console sides effectively, so they're kind of on the vertical curve. Bottom half would sit underneath the adjacent front floor, top half underneath the centre console. Like I say, unedged, because they don't get seen when they're in the car effectively. So you get a pair of those. You've then got this odd looking piece here. People often ask where this goes, so I shall try and indicate. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use a photo of a very early Jag Mark II with the Jaguar heel pad, and it's a right-hand drive, not a left-hand drive, but the concept's roughly the same after that. So it's this piece here, which is effectively that's the sort of dip headlights switch, foot switch that you would use, and so that's the same concept, only on the obviously driver's side, which is the left-hand side on this one here. You then got the front floors, obviously left-hand drive, and then that's the right hand for the left-hand drive. Left-hand drive, left-hand front floor, edged all the way around. Cutaways here for the pedals, throttle pedal there. These are for the seat mounts. That's a Storvik heel pad. Depending on the colour that you're going for in carpet and also edging, Storvik can be available. It's a pretty narrow range of colours. If not, we can trim those in a matching leather cloth so it matches exactly to the edging, or a leather if you really want to go the whole hog on things. So there's some options, but as standard, we will do them in Storvik. Unless Storvik isn't available, we would go onto the leather cloth version there. Right hand front floor, much the same. Obviously, it's only got the cutouts for the seat mounts effectively, as opposed to any pedals because it's the passenger side. Moving down the middle of the car here, starting at the back here, we have the prop shaft tunnel towards the rear seat section of things. Then in the middle here, you had all elements for the kind of cross members. The cross members were those sort of supporting beams that went from left to right on the car that the front seat semi-mounted on top of. So that's what the cutaway in those sills is for. And then you had basically vinyl or carpet or a combination of the two and some moquette to retrim those elements there. Now, some of the bits are used to trim the sort of metal support brackets for the actual seats. The other bits are actually for the cross members. We tend to oversupply, if I remember correctly, on these kits. Some cars left with vinyl, some cars left with carpet, so we oversupply, so you can pick and choose which one you want. But that's what that kind of centre section there is for. You then obviously got the sill carpets, front to back of the car. The cutaway there is obviously the cross member section, and sort of where the BC post is as well. Then we've got the rear floor carpets here. Subtle difference, left-hand drive, right-hand drive, all related to this sort of curved corner there, which allows for the handbrake, safety brake, whereas obviously on the right side it doesn't have it. And then also on the front floors, it's worth noting, we pre-cut there, as you can see. See nice on the back as well. You pre-cut, you can see all the sort of cuts for it there. This is for the seat mountings effectively there. Now, the reason we do that is we pre-cut that, but we don't cut this bit here, but we do back tack. You can just about make that out where it's double stitched. That's done intentionally. It means that when you cut that, it won't start unfurling. So that's, we find, is the easier and neater way of getting these sorted around the seat mounts, etc. Some people, I've seen kits where they bind around this section here, but for me it doesn't sit around the metal particularly well because you've got this extra thickness of the binding. So the way we do it, you literally just wrap the carpet round the mount, then sort of pad it down, and it looks like the mount is effectively growing out of the carpet. It looks much better in my opinion. So it's those sort of subtle things that we do through feedback that we've had over the years. That's obviously on both sides. You can make out the cutaway there you need to do. Then finally, you just have these pieces here, which sit kind of like round the corner of where the rear seat and lower bulkhead sort of coordinates effectively. So yeah, that's the carpet set. Now it's worth noting as well, I've just popped them down here, that in addition to this carpet set, you will want to be considering the underfelt soundproofing kit, as well as the fixings. Start with the fixings. The original fixings were black plastic mushroom, male and female, as you can see. So one just slides inside the other. So we do supply a fixing kit. It is sold separately, but obviously we recommend you buy it. And then you've got our natural jute undercarpet felt kit. Now originally, this is very much akin to what they would have used. Ours is around 6mm or so. Some cars had slightly thicker, some cars had slightly thinner. It doesn't really matter. We tend to recommend it anywhere between 5 to 10mm on that one. It does vary slightly, but normally around 6 to 7mm our kit there, which we find is absolutely ample. Now it's worth bearing in mind with the more modern day heat and sound kits that you can get out there, brands such as Dynamat and Dodo Matting, they offer a fairly wide range of product, and depending on the thickness and the softness almost of that product, you'll probably want to consider having one of our felt kits as well. Not for the fact that it will help block out any extra heat or sound. We're not trying to claim that our natural jute felt kit, very much in line with 1960s, 1970s production, is competing at all with the modern day kits. It's not, but it's crucial to remember that carpets have been designed with a certain thickness underneath them. And therefore, if you certainly go for one of the Dynamat kits, which I think is at the higher end of their spectrum, which I have in my car, it basically goes down to nothing when it's in the car, which means that the carpets won't fit correctly if they don't have a certain thickness on top of it. So a lot of people go the whole hog. They'll get a Dynamat kit or Dodo Matting or other brands available, etc. But they'll also get one of these felt kits in addition, because it helps the carpet position within the car, and it also offers a bit more of a softer underfoot feel as well, because it's obviously got a bit of thickness and natural jute felt. That being said, some of those modern day kits do come in thicker versions, so if you're anywhere between 5 and 10mm on those, then there's not really any need for a natural jute felt kit on that one, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, I think that closes off the video. I think I covered everything. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and show of classic car enthusiasts, and be sure to tune in next time.